One of my favourite anime is finally getting the game adaptation it deserves, and I am super excited for it. Let's discuss Bleach, Rebirth of Souls. It's been long overdue for Bleach to get a brand new game. The very last one that came out on console was Bleach Soul Resurrection, which was released for the PS3 back in 2011. I'm not going to count Bleach Brave Souls because that is a port from a mobile game, so before anyone says, oh yeah, but what about Bleach Brave Souls? No, that doesn't count. From what I've seen of the first trailer for Bleach Rebirth of Souls, the game does look absolutely stunning. Much like what they did with Dragon Ball Kakarot's trailer, we're only shown off the first two arcs. The first arc that they shown off was the Substitute Soul Reaper arc, which was when Ichigo received his Soul Reaper powers from Rukia. And the second arc they shown off was the Soul Society Invasion, in which we have to go and rescue Rukia from execution. When they released the trailer for Dragon Ball Kakarot, we were only shown the Saiyan Invasion and the Frieza Saga on Namek. Fans were already able to speculate just from those that the game was going to be much bigger and we were going to be included the Cell Saga and the Buu Saga respectively. So much like that, with Bleach Resurrection of Souls, they're only showing off the bare minimum, so not too much is shown off in game. Which I think this is a nice touch, because if you're someone who hasn't read the manga or seen the anime of Bleach and are interested in knowing what happens but want to play the game, this will be all new to you, so this will be fantastic for newer audiences. I speculate that this game will only give us 5 major arcs. We already know the first 2 arcs being the Substitute Soul Reaper and the Soul Society arcs, but the next arc we'll get will be the Arrancar invasion / the invasion of Hueco Mundo, then the 4th arc being Aizen's invasion of Fake Karakura Town, and finally ending on the Lost Substitute arc. I say the Lost Substitute arc, but really everybody calls it the Fullbring arc. I think maybe I should call it the Fullbring arc since that's what everyone knows it as. But this of course does beg the question that if we're only getting these 5 major arcs for the game, what would then become of the filler arcs? Bleach is notorious for having a lot of filler, and everyone in the anime community knows that. But if they were to implement the filler into the game, I reckon they would just do that as DLC. This will be similar to when we got to episode Trunks in Dragon Ball Kakarot, wherein we play as future Trunks training to become a Super Saiyan to hopefully defend his home against the androids, but sadly fails. So I think the DLC for Rebirth of Souls will be the Bounce arc and the Zanpakuto Rebellion, for example. And I for one would be excited to play the Zanpakuto Rebellion because that was actually the better of the filler arcs in my opinion. I feel like the DLC might fall flat for this game though, because I can't imagine too many people paying out for DLC if they didn't like the filler, which is perfectly understandable because a lot of the filler became so dragged out and boring that it just took way too long to finish and it became more of a chore than an enjoyment. Take the Bounce Saga for example. I mean, that was just a slow build up, a very slow burner, and it just had a very slow ending. It just felt so repetitive after a while. It just honestly became a hassle to watch. I mean, that just might be my opinion on it. There might be people out there that really liked it, but honestly, watching the Bounce Saga, I just kept thinking to myself, oh god, how many episodes are there left of this? Because I just want to move on to the main stuff now. Some of the filler episodes were kind of funny, you know, I mean, like, just taking a break from the actual story, sure, that's fine, but like, some of them, like that whole episode where they became genies, that was very odd. I don't understand the point of that. But depending on how well this game performs, I reckon that we will also see a really big DLC expansion wherein we get to play through the arcs from Thousand Year Blood War. And I honestly hope that that is the case, because Thousand Year Blood War so far has been absolutely fantastic, and I'm loving it, and I can't wait for Season 3. Now let's move on to some potential playable characters. Obviously, we're going to have Ichigo Kurosaki because he's the main character. But much like with Dragon Ball Kakarot, I'm really hoping they allow us to play as many of the other characters. I don't just want to play as Ichigo throughout the whole game. I also want to try out Sado, I want to try out Uryu, I want to try out Urahara, I want to try out Yoruichi, and most importantly, I want to try out my personal favourite, Kenpachi Zaraki. I want to be able to play as many characters as I possibly can, depending on the situation, the story, the side quest, whatever it takes. That was like one of the bits that I really enjoyed about Dragon Ball Kakarot, was like you didn't just have Goku, despite the game obviously being named after him, but you also played as Gohan, you played as Vegeta, you played as Piccolo. So I really hope this game does this as well. Like, you know, you can play as Ichigo, you can play as Nao, you can play as Yoruichi, you can play as Kisuke Urahara. I am interested on how they're going to handle Orihime in this game though. Throughout the series, we don't really see Orihime fight as much. There are a lot of times where she tries to train herself up in order to get ready for a big fight, but then something always happens to intervene her from fighting. But Orihime's powers are more based on protection and healing rather than than actually attacking and killing. So I was thinking that instead of having Orihime as a playable character, you should have her as a support character. Meaning, like, you know, she'll be in the background when you're fighting, and like she'll occasionally start to heal you or shield you or something like that. You know, just something to make use of her, because I don't really see her as a playable fighter, to be honest. In Dragon Ball Kakarot, they had what was known as a community board, and you had to unlock soul emblems in order to place characters on them to reap the benefits. If anybody remembers what they do, they basically give you extra stat bonuses and extra items, you know, things like that. So I'm kind of hoping that this game, given that it's published by Bandai Namco as well, will have the community board in it. Obviously, like, they'd have to make it a different thing because community board is Dragon Ball Kakarot, but you know, they can call it like the soul board or something like that, and you have to unlock all of the main characters and side characters and link them up with each other. I honestly think this would be a great way to expand how the game is played, you know, give you ideas on how to build up your characters and what you might need for certain situations in terms of buffs, and you can change and rearrange it however you like whenever you like. Now let's talk about the gameplay. The gameplay was only shortly revealed to us from the trailer, but from the looks of it, it looks pretty fun. Just like with Dragon Ball Kakarot, the game looks to be a action fighting game. I really hope that like the next trailer we get shows off a bit more of the fighting prowess, because I really want to see more of what characters can do. I want to see more abilities. I want to see if the landscape is destructible, and I want to see some Bankai. Honestly, I think Bandai Namco is absolutely treating us this year. I mean, we're getting Dragon Ball Sparkling Zero dropping in a few months, and we're getting a trailer for a new Bleach game. I'm really excited for both, but what do you guys think? Are you all excited for these new games that are coming out? Which one do you like more, or do you like them both equally? Let me know in the comments what you all think about this game from what you've seen. Do you think the game looks great? How do you think the game will perform? What kind of things are you hoping to see from this game? And most importantly, who are you looking forward to playing as or fighting against? Me personally, I would love to play as Yoruichi, because I've always admired her fighting prowess and her ninja skills, so I would love to try those out for myself. And as for who I'd like to fight against, I'd have to go with Kenpachi Zaraki. But like I said, let me know. Who would you prefer to play as? Who would you like to fight as? Let me know, because I'm interested. I want to know all of your thoughts about this game. Thank you so very much for watching. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more of what I do, and I'll see you again for the next video. Thank you again for watching.